Are you a real estate investor, wholesaler, or just a curious real estate nerd who wants to know what a double closing is and how to double close real estate deals? If so, then you're in the right place. I'm Mandy from BigRia.com, and today you'll learn what a double closing is, the legal issues around double closings and how to double close correctly, and the big secret about why you never have to do a double closing ever. They are totally unnecessary, although you should know all about them and how they work. So let's get started. For most people, trying to get into real estate or real estate wholesaling feels like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. It seems like a realm packed with challenges that can be as maddening as a squirrel in a nut factory. I've been asking many new and experienced investors what challenges they've been having, and the answers are the same, and they start with motivated sellers. If you don't know what you're doing, and most people don't, then finding motivated sellers is like hunting unicorns. They're so rare and elusive, they might as well not exist. Scouring neighborhoods, making cold calls, placing ads, it's like a never-ending scavenger hunt. And then, even when you spot one, convincing them to sell can be tougher than wrestling a greased pig. Then there's dealing with contracts. Oh, the joy. They're like a bad riddle wrapped in a mystery, inside an enigma. And let's not forget the juggling act of managing timelines, inspections, title companies, insurance, and closing dates. It's like trying to herd feral cats in heat during a thunderstorm. This is why so many people that get into real estate never manage to do their first deal or make any serious money. This is also why you should be going through our epic free training at BigRia.com on 100 ways to find motivated sellers for free. Because once you do this right, you'll have endless deals. So this difficulty is what blocks most investors, and it is why when you get good at this, you can make a solid $10,000 to $30,000 a month wholesaling properties, because investors are hungry for somebody who can bring them good deals. To be a good wholesaler, you need to know all about double closings and why you never need to do them. Now, what in tarnation is a double closing, you ask? Well, gather round, folks. It's time to delve into the nitty-gritty of this real estate wonder. Double closings, also sometimes called a simultaneous closing, is a bit like a swift two-step dance in the world of real estate wholesaling. Picture this: you're at a bustling market and you spot a gorgeous antique lamp for a steal. You know a buddy who'd pay top dollar for it, but you don't have the funds to buy it right off. So you strike a deal with the seller to buy the lamp later in the day. Then you arrange to sell it to your buddy right after. You're essentially buying and selling the lamp on the same day without ever really owning it. That, my friends, is the essence of wholesaling and double closing. In real estate terms, the guy you buy the lamp from is the homeowner, you're the wholesaler, the lamp is the property, and your buddy is your end buyer. You sign a contract with a property owner to purchase a property, then almost simultaneously, you sell that property to an end buyer. The key here is that these two transactions happen back to back, like a well-choreographed dance. Now, why would a wholesaler want to do this two-step dance? The main reason that investors go to this trouble and pay two sets of closing costs and jump through all of these hoops is because they want to hide their profit from the seller and investor. This hiding, however, is only temporary, and eventually everybody will know what you paid and what you made, so this is a bad reason to do it. The bigger reason why you never need to do double closings is because you should build such a tight relationship with your sellers, investors, and everybody else that they aren't bothered by how much you made, because they are so grateful for the world-class service that you provide. That is why you never need to do double closings. I have done about 7 double closing deals, but they were all because of weird contract issues. And even then they were unnecessary. I've never done a double closing because I was trying to hide my profit. And Rachel and I just had an assignment fee of over $50,000, and the investor had no problem with it because we took such great care of him. When you position yourself correctly, you should never have this be an issue. Just don't be an LC about it. Take care of your people. Don't be a dickhead. Nobody likes a dickhead. That being said, you should still know how a double closing works. Sometimes it can help you sidestep sticky situations by keeping the two transactions separate. It isn't the best way, but sometimes you'll be dealing with a realtor or banker whose body temperature surpasses their IQ, so it is good to know how double closings work just in case. All right, y'all ready to learn how to double close like a pro? Fantastic! So let's break it down into simple, tasty bites. Picture this. You're at the county fair and you've just spotted the biggest, juiciest apple pie you've ever seen. That apple pie is your real estate deal and you're about to take a big old bite. Here's how to do a double closing in 3 easy steps. Step 1 is your contract with the seller. In other videos and training at bigria.com, we have explained how to find, attract, and convert motivated sellers, so I won't go into that here. For now, you have done the work and you signed a contract with your seller. That is the first step. Let's say your contract price with the seller is for $40,000. Step 2 is the contract with your investor buyer. We have made other videos and training on how to build your cash buyer list, how to communicate with them, and how to train them to jump all over your deals. You can go to bigria.com for more on that. So let's say your investor wants to buy the property for $50,000. That is $10,000 more than your price with the seller, which is $40,000. Now, step 3 is going to your title company. First of all, your investor could just pay you $10,000 and then step in your place and close the deal. But that would be an assignment and not a double close, and today we are talking about double closings. So in order to do double closings, you will need to find a good title company, and we have made several videos and training on this elsewhere. We also have a list of every possible contact that you'll ever need to build your real estate business, and it includes investor-friendly title companies. You can get that list for free on our people page at bigria.com/people. So now with your title company, there are 3 ways that you can do a double closing. Let's talk about each one. To make this simple, we will call the closing between you and the seller A to B and the closing between you and the investor B to C. Double closing method number 1 is that you use your own money and close A to B for $40,000. And then you do the second closing immediately after. This may be the same day or even the same hour, or in some areas they may require you to wait longer, but you will do the second close immediately and you used your own cash. This method requires that you have at least $30,000 cash plus the closing costs to cover both the closings, or you have the seller and investor pay the closing costs, and that is what we normally do. Double closing method number 2 is that you borrow money for the A to B closing. This money is called transactional funding or flash close funds. You will pay extra for it, but this allows you to do the first closing with no money out of pocket. So you pay the seller the $40,000 and then you close with the investor and get your $50,000. You make $10,000 minus the cost of the transaction funding, which is usually 1 to 3%. So if you borrow $100,000, it would cost you $1,000 to $3,000 typically, and they usually have a minimum, so it would cost at least $1,000 to borrow anything. For a list of transaction funding people and hard money people that we use and recommend, again, I would suggest that you check out our people page at bigria.com/people. Double closing method number 3 is something called single source funding, and this is where you use your investor's money from the A to C closing to fund your first closing on the A to B transaction. This requires a title company to let the investor sign and pay for the property before you have closed and paid for the property. You need a well-trained title company to do this. So that's the third way of doing a double closing. Those are the main 3 ways to double close. Are double closings illegal, unethical, or wrong? Who cares? As long as it is fun, live your life and stop being such a pussy. Just kidding. Are double closings illegal? No, it is just really important that you are totally transparent and that everybody knows what is happening. You want everything to be well documented and handled by your title company and their attorney, so you know that it is all being done legally and in accordance to your specific laws and regulations. Now that you know how a double closing works, you know what to ask your title company and how to stay out of trouble so that you don't end up in prison as somebody's bitch. Look, if you go to prison, it should be for something serious, because if you get locked up for some stupid shit like double closings, you'll get tossed up for sure. All right, let's take a breather and recap what we've learned. We've journeyed through the winding road of double closings, uncovering its challenges, its nitty-gritty, and the step-by-step process. So what have we found? Firstly, we've discovered that double closings are not necessary, and you don't need to do them to keep your profits secret, and it won't work anyway. Second, you learned the 3 steps in double closings and 3 different ways to do double closings, and now you know how to do them with no money out of your pocket. Third, you know how to stay legal by making sure you screen your title company correctly and ask the right questions. Real estate wholesalers must have great relationships with their title company in order to do deals like clockwork. So that covers what a double closing is, if they are legal, how to do them, where to find a list of people that you need, and why you never have to do a double closing unless you really want to. As always, make sure you go to bigria.com and get our free class on how to make $100,000 a month with your real estate wholesaling business. bigria.com.